As of January 1, 2021, the aggregate Egyptian population was estimated at 101.48 million inhabitants. Cairo, the capital of Egypt. The city of Cairo has acted for an infinite time as a guardian and a center for culture, art, and beauty. Ancient Egyptians. The ancient Egyptians came up with a religious system built on a combination of beliefs, rituals, and practices within a complex of society built on the notion of polytheism and linked by their common focus on the interactions between the humanity and the divine realm. Ancient Egyptians believed that life on earth was a part of the eternal life, just a stepping stone for the next life and in order to continue to the afterlife. Egyptians were ruled by kings and queens, often called pharaohs. Egyptian literature. Most of Egyptian literature was written in hieroglyphics or hieratic script. Egyptian writers and poets. Naguib Mahfouz. Naguib Mahfouz was a prolific Egyptian writer who was awarded the 1988 Nobel Prize for Literature. Works include the Cairo Trilogy, Heart of the Night, Love in the Rain, and Cairo Modern. Yusuf Idris. Yusuf Idris is an Egyptian writer of plays, short stories, and novels. In 1997, Idris was awarded the Naguib Mahfouz Medal for Literature for his novel City of Love and Ashes. Tawfiq al-Hakim. Tawfiq al-Hakim was an Egyptian writer born in Alexandria, Egypt. He remains one of the pioneering figures of modern Arabic literature and has often been described as the founder of an entire literary tradition, particularly within the world of Arab theater. Al-Hakim's plays include A Bullet in the Heart, Living Paradise, and The People of the Cave. Ihsan Abdel Qudus. Ihsan Abdel Qudus is an Egyptian writer, journalist, and novelist. Abdel Qudus also worked as an editor for Al-Akhbar and Al-Aram newspapers. His novels include Sleepless, Your Impossible Voice, and The Frozen Lily. Atom Egoyan. Atom Egoyan is a Canadian stage and film director, writer, and producer. Egoyan made his career breakthrough with Exotica 1994. Egoyan's most critically acclaimed film is the drama The Sweet Hereafter 1997.
Tales and love songs. Tales. The Egyptian tales witness to some of the great moments in the history of Egyptian literature and represent the earliest beginnings in the world literature. Many literature critics do not seem to know the importance of Egyptian prose tales told for the entertainment, along with the magnificent tales about gods and myths of creation. The ancient Egyptians also handed down literature about magicians, warriors, kings, and peasants. So, the example of tales, the wax crocodile. So, the wax crocodile, Prince Khafra tells the story of a magician who discovers his wife's infidelity. The magician crafts a crocodile out of wax and throws it into the lake where he knows his wife lover will be swimming. The crocodile magically comes to life and drowns the young man. So let's move on to the love songs. So love songs are probably found in every culture, dealing as they do with an intense emotional experience felt by all. They are also a very old feature of verbal records. Among ancient Egypt manuscripts, love song survives from one time and place. Ancient Egyptian love poetry was actually written by men and sung as songs for entertainment. There aren't that many that were recorded, but the few that are seem to be full of desire, longing, and heartache. Have you noticed that love songs and poems through the age and spanning of culture seem to have the thread of desire, longing, and heartache? And ancient Egyptian poetry is not except. In many of their verses, you'll find that they call each other or talk of each other as brother and sister. These are obviously terms of affection, and although incest did exist in ancient Egypt, it was mainly confirmed to royal families as a way to keep the power from spreading outside.
The ancient gods and goddesses of Egyptian mythology. First is Osiris. Osiris, god of the seas, was the son of oldest child of Geb, the earth deity, and Nut, the sky goddess. His wife and his sister was Isis. It was said that Osiris and Isis were deeply in love with each other even in the womb. In the New Kingdom, Osiris was considered the master of the underground world, the next world, the afterlife. Isis was the daughter of the earth god Geb and the sky goddess Nut, and the sister of the deities Osiris, Seth, and Nephthys. She was known as the goddess of the moon, as the goddess of the life and magic. Isis protected woman and child and healed the sick. Closely linked to the throne, she was one of the greatest goddesses of ancient Egypt. Horus is the son of Osiris and Isis, the divine child of the Holy Family Triad. He is one of the many gods associated with the falcon. His name means he who is above and he who is distant. The falcon had been worshipped from the earliest time as a cosmic deity whose body represents the heavens and whose eyes represent the sun and the moon. Seth, also known as Seth and Shutek, was the Egyptian god of war, chaos, and storms, brother of Osiris, Isis, Horus, and brother husband to Nephthys. His name is usually translated as instigator of confusion and destroyer, and he was associated with disorder, foreign lands and people, and the color red. Re. The god who personified the sun was one of the most important and widely venerated of Egypt's deities. Re was considered as the merge or creator god who brought himself and the rest of the pantheon into being at the beginning of time. He was also central of the ideology of kingship. He was considered as the divine father of each successive pharaoh. Hathor. Hathor, in ancient Egyptian religion, goddess of the sky, of woman, and of fertility and love. Hathor's worship originated in early dynastic times. The name Hathor means estate of Horus and may not be her original name. Her principal animal form was that a cow, and she was strongly associated with motherhood. Hathor was closely connected with the son of god Re of Heliopolis, whose eye, or the daughter, she was said to be. Anubis. Anubis was a jackal-headed deity who was presided over the embalming process and accompanied dead kings in the afterworld. When kings were being judged by Osiris, Anubis placed their hearts on one side of a scale and a feather on the other. The god Thoth records these results, which indicate whether the king could enter the afterworld. Anubis is the son of Osiris and Nephthys. And that will be the gods and goddesses of Egyptian mythology.
The story of Osiris, Isis, and Horus, the Egyptian myth of creation. From Jeb, the sky god, and Nut, the earth goddess, came 4 children: Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys. Osiris was the oldest and so became king of Egypt, and he married her sister Isis. Osiris was a good king and commanded the respect of all who lived on the earth and the gods who dwelled in the netherworld. However, Set was always jealous of Osiris because he did not command the respect of those on earth or those in the netherworld. One day, Set transformed himself into a vicious monster and attacked Osiris, killing him. Set then cut Osiris into pieces and distributed them throughout the length and breadth of Egypt.